Hello, everyone. It's Jaden for Student Pages. I hope I've caught you all doing very well once again. Today we have another artist spotlight for you guys. We are here with Dina Renee. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, no, absolutely our pleasure. So I think to get things kicked off, Dina, can you just give us a bit of a background as to how you got into the music industry and what inspired you to go that way?
Loved Mariah Carey growing up. I would watch her constantly and Britney Spears, the Spice Girls. Those were like my influences. And then I ended up after college, I moved to Los Angeles and really tried to pursue it. It really took leaving Tennessee to kind of focus really on my music.
No, I mean, you've made a massive name for yourself pretty much immediately. So with your new single "Glow Up," how would you say that's developed you as an artist, and what was the inspiration behind that song?
So I was actually going through a breakup at the time, and so was one of my really good friends, and we hadn't seen each other in a year. And she was dating somebody that wouldn't really allow her to like go out with her friends. He was really controlling. And it was just, it kind of inspired the song because I feel like a lot of people go through these relationships where that person won't let them really hang out with their friends and go out. And I was also, I was just like in a moment where I was in bed, sad all day. And it was that moment where like I put on my makeup and got dressed up again and I just felt like myself. And then I remember we took pictures that night and I was like, oh my God, like I feel like I had this like sparkle in my eye that I haven't had in so long because I just haven't felt like me. And so it really inspired the song. I wrote it like the next day with my co-writer, and we kind of just took what my friend was going through with her breakup and also me. So it was like we kind of combined the two and wrote the song. And I feel like it's the most me song I've released because I'm such a girly girl, and it just kind of like really had like a really amazing single release party with it and everything because I just wanted it to be just kind of like my most breakup empowerment song of like, you can get through whatever comes your way, like, and, actually become stronger from it.
No, that's a really nice reason to have the song made, and it's funny it being called "Glow Up" as well, because that I believe is what people call it when you've gone from a low to a high. It's like you've had a glow up. It's like yeah, no, absolutely, and I think having songs to lift people up through difficult times are so important. So yeah, what a lovely reason to make the song. I mean, is that would you say that Glow Up sort of matches a lot of your other music? How would you describe your music? What do you think makes it stand out?
I think it's probably my catchiest song. But yeah, a lot of my songs are, I kind of call my music breakup empowerment because when I've gone through breakups, it's sometimes the hardest thing. I feel like I'm in such a horrible state when I'm in a breakup. I really have I struggle with it. So I always have looked to music when I'm going through that. And I just wanted to make music that if somebody is like going through a breakup, they can listen and feel better and feel like empowered that, that happened for a reason and they can move on and be stronger. And yeah, so I think it definitely matches kind of the theme of my other songs.
I think it's nice though when songs about things like that don't have to be all drab and depressing. I think having songs that
Yeah.
lift people up through those things, that's a nice contrast. And I don't actually think we get that a lot in the music scene. Songs about breakups that aren't all "I miss my man." You know what I mean? It's like we don't need another
Yeah.
billion songs like that. We've got enough of those.
Yeah, exactly. I lost a friend to like domestic violence before I moved to LA, and that was actually one of my reasons I got into the music industry and like really pursued it was loss. So like when she was actually murdered by a significant other that was really toxic. That's
Oh
when I
my goodness,
realized like
sorry to
life
hear that.
is yeah. That's when I realized like life is short, and I moved like 3 months after to LA. I was like, I'm just gonna leave. Like I'm done. I'm not gonna waste any more time. And then I lost my mom to cancer. So after that, that's when I kind of started performing live. So I kind of feel like loss is another reason why like I wanted to, really pursue music. And, I want my songs to, if someone's in a toxic relationship, I want my songs to be like, oh my God, like maybe that will like have like someone will have like a moment where like, oh my God, this song actually inspired me to get out of the relationship. So
I
that's
think to
kind of
bring
my
something so
why.
beautiful, yeah, I think to bring something so beautiful out of such a dark experience is really something to be admired. And I massively applaud you for being able to bring that out of yourself because, again, I know that the natural human instinct would be to bury that, to, hide it away. But yeah, to transform feelings like that into something so powerful and creative. It really is something to be commended.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to
No,
think,
yeah.
life is short and I'm very much a late bloomer, like with everything. I'm a perfectionist. So a lot of times, like wouldn't release a song because I'd be like, oh, I don't, I want to make sure it has its, right release strategy and everything. But really, you just kind of have to put things out there. And, I want to inspire people to do things now before, it's too late.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The best time to do anything is right now in the moment, isn't
Mhm.
it? I mean, so if you could tell me then, so I understand you've lost a friend and you lost your mom. They're obviously incredibly tragic moments. But in the journey that you've had getting into the music industry, what's the response been like from the people around you in your life? Has it been very positive? Has there been many naysayers telling you it's not the right move, or has it all been very congratulatory?
When I lived in Tennessee, I lived there my whole life. People always like kind of didn't take me seriously. Like they would just be like, "You sound like Britney Spears," and people in my hometown did not like Britney Spears, and I loved her. So
That's
she's kind of like,
bizarre. Britney Spears is brilliant.
yeah, I don't know what it was, but growing up, I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, and like people would just always hate on Britney there. And so they would be like, they would talk about her, I think they were jealous. I have no idea, but it was weird. But they were jealous of Britney Spears. Like they would just say really mean things about her. And so it would make me feel like, okay, well, if I sound like her, like clearly, and you don't like her, like you must not like my voice either. So it kind of made me kind of scared to sing because I knew I kind of sounded like her. I didn't ever try to. I just knew I kind of had a similar tone. So yeah, I kind of took. So I would say like if I stayed in Tennessee, I probably wouldn't be pursuing it as much just because I don't know. And there was such a country scene there as well, and I'm definitely pop. So I definitely feel like I didn't get the best response in my hometown, but when I moved to LA, I felt like people understood me and were so much more supportive. And I think my friends here have been really supportive of it. But it's also the people closest to you sometimes may not have the response that you want them to have, and that will definitely deter you from pursuing it. And a lot of times people won't, a lot of times people have to see everybody else supporting it to support you. So that's one thing I've really struggled with is, feeling like everyone should see what I see. And like growing up, I thought my parents should see that I wanted to be a singer and help me take voice lessons, help me like get into the entertainment, and they didn't. So it was one of those things I kind of had to like, just do it for myself finally and realize that you don't have to have the response from everybody else. You kind of have to do it first and see it for yourself, and everyone else will start to see it. So I definitely think LA has been a much more, and my friends from Tennessee are amazing. Like, of course, they do support, but I would just say, like, the people I wasn't as close with in Tennessee, like, definitely didn't get it. But yeah, LA, I don't know what it is, but it's just a city that has always, like, I feel like it's me here and people get me here. So,
No, that's wonderful to hear, and I think it's so great that you actually have that support circle now that loves what you do. I think it's so important to be surrounded by people that not only match your energy, but also can actually resonate with what you do. So no, that's wonderful, and I wonder what's the response been like online? I mean, do you have any people that have been listening to your music quite a lot that have maybe reached out and said that they think it's great? Have you had any people like that?
yeah, I'll get DMs sometimes from people that, will say like my music helped them. They were going through, a breakup or they just like love listening to it. And like they may not even like realize the meaning of the song, but they love, the beat of it or, the tone. They're just like, "Oh my God, I love this song. I've been listening on repeat." That like really means a lot, especially just if one person hears my music, that's really cool for me. So I mean, yeah, I was always scared to even I never even really sang my real voice growing up. I would impersonate people as like a joke. So it's like I was so scared to even put my music out there. But I've been, writing songs since I was 5. So it's like such a long such a long process that I've gone through to actually like finally put something out, over the years and have people hear it is really cool. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's wonderful to have people that like what you do. Again, I think it's just so important to have people around you that can, find something in what you do important. I think that's always so great to have no matter what part of the creative industry you're in. So again, I think something I do want to touch on that we usually do is social media. In the, I think there's a lot of people out there that are scared of social media and think that it's this big, wide jungle where anyone can say anything. How have you used social media to support your career? Would you've been a fan of it? Would you say that you've enjoyed using it, or has it been a bit of a scary one for you as well?
It's definitely been a huge part of feeling connected to people you don't know, or like, fans or people that, want to be a part of your world. And I think that's important to just be, but I have no filter, so it's hard if I go live, like I have no idea what I'm gonna say or do. Like I think I was crying on Periscope sometimes because I would be drinking too much and I'd be like upset about my mom. And I had people that would be like, "Oh my God, you made up this like really funny song last night." And I'd be like, "What?" And there was like a comedy song I did called "Hey Hipster, Can I Wear Your Hat?" Because I was at a bar and all these hipsters were around me, and I was just like, "Hey hipster, can I wear your hat?" And I was like going around on my phone, and like people were like the next day they were like, "Oh my God, you did this last night." And it was such like, this was like all social media. So to me, like it's definitely been, it made me realize that, there is like a world out there where people are definitely like, it was like my own kind of reality show, I guess. And you can kind of make it your own. And I think now with music, it's important because you kind of have to, you can make your own music video basically and, promote your songs that way. And it really does help. Like it actually connected me to a producer recently because he saw one of my videos of my song. And that was just one I made of myself, like singing my song. So yeah, I think it's really important for artists and they don't even realize it. Like a lot of artists are like, I don't want to be, on social media. I just want to make the music. But it's kind of like now we have to do that, and it does make it less fun when everybody has to do it. But they don't realize like the importance that even if you just film yourself singing your song, it could really get to people that you'd never realized it would get to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, especially with the rise in TikTok as well, what a huge platform for promoting music. And again, if you get a viral song on there, you're set, aren't you, really?
That's the one app I need to like. I don't know. I had, yeah, I need to definitely get on that one more. I think it's just, yeah, you never know with that one what could go viral, and I've seen people around me literally go viral on it. So it can be anybody. So that's the thing. You could have no following, and then a video could get millions the next day. So it's really cool that that could happen that way.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, I mean, for you then going into the music industry, how important would you say it was to find other people that do what you do? So, producers, managers, maybe. How has that experience been for you? And do you recommend it? Would you say it's been a lot of fun or has it been a bit of a nightmare?
I think collaboration is definitely like the key to really pursuing this because if you're just doing it on your own, it's really hard. You kind of do need people pushing you. I think that I work with different PR people, and then I also work with different photographers, different producers, different songwriters, and I think that's what's really kept me going is having other people that are really talented to encourage you and also just like build amazing songs with. So I think if I was doing it all by myself, it would be way too hard. But yeah, pretty much I do most everything by myself. But I would say, it is fun to have, a team. So you gotta find the right team. There's a lot of people out in LA that are out for themselves and like they might be doing the same thing you're doing and you find out later you're like, wait, why did I ask for that opportunity? But then they took that opportunity themselves. It's like so yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of have to find people that are trustworthy. And if you get a weird feeling in your gut, you just have to, I call people Hollywood idiots. There's a lot of those here and yeah, you kind of have to weed those people out. You'll get a feeling. It's just like I guess they call it the ick feeling. You'll get that feeling from certain people, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna not
No,
do that
absolutely.
show, or I'm not gonna.
Especially somewhere like LA, I imagine it's a whole kettle of fish, having to find the right people who aren't just going to try and, swindle you for what they need you for and then walk away.
Yeah, it's a lot of people chasing fame here, and that's not what this is about. It's really like that should not be what you're chasing. And like I don't know why it takes people so long to figure that out that you've never made it in this industry. You have to like even if I had a hit song or I was signed to the best label, like it's not making it. You're always up for that next thing. And it's like you just have to push yourself. But people think, once I get here, this will make me happy and I'll be on this page. But it's like, no, like you have to just pursue it for the love of what you're doing, not for the fame. And I think that's where you get that feeling from certain people where you're like, oh, like this person's not a good person.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You need that passion, don't you, really? Especially when you're going into music. If you don't have that, you're never going to make it anywhere at the end of the day. So,
Hmm.
I mean, to pivot ever so slightly, what do you do outside of music? Do you have any hobbies that you particularly enjoy doing that you'd recommend to anyone that does what you do, or anything like
Yeah,
that?
so I used to work, I've worked so many different jobs since I've moved here because you have to, LA is so expensive. But I, right now, like, honestly, it's a crazy thing. I actually have a karaoke company. So I run pretty much like 10 to 12 bars in LA. I have people that work for my company, and we run karaoke and open mic nights. And it's really a great community that we create because people will come out to our nights and everyone loves to sing. There's a lot of artists that come and we all meet each other, and it's like people will meet at my karaoke and they all become friends, and it's really hard to find a community in LA because it's so big that, like, unless you work at a restaurant or you work at certain places, it's hard to find like friends, like a group of friends. So it's been really cool over the last, I guess, 10 years I've been doing that. Now just the last few years I feel like we've really created this community of people and artists and people that just love to sing, and karaoke is just, it's really fun. And I also welcome people to sing their original music so I can take videos. I also do photography, so I liked fashion photography. My photography page is at Dina Renee Photo. I created my home into a photo shoot spot that looks like a Barbie house. So I'm really into like interior design, and that one, it's a Hollywood Pastel Palace. So I did that. I actually just moved. I moved apartments, but I'm gonna create a new one at my new place. I was doing that for a few years. I actually created it for my own music video, but people were, filming music videos and photo shoots in my place, and that was cool. And then so yeah, basically what I do is I do acting as well. So basically acting, photography, makeup, styling, yeah, and then karaoke is pretty much all I do.
That's incredible. It sounds like you got plenty of stuff to fill your time. I
Yeah.
mean, how multifaceted, that's incredible. No, it equally doesn't come as a surprise though, because I suppose once you got the taste for one side of the creative industry, it just spirals, doesn't it? You find different areas that you have a bit of interest in, or maybe, I'll give that a go. And then yeah, it just all merges into this one love. I mean, I don't know if you'd agree with that, but yeah, that's what I've
Yeah.
found.
I've always my whole life I've kind of been the same. Like I've always been into fashion a lot. Like I wanted to be a fashion designer. Maybe eventually I'll do that, but I've always wanted to do acting. So it's like it's always something I just didn't know like which path to pursue first. Yeah, I finally had to, like, if I had to choose music and acting, I was focusing more on music and working like a full-time job because with acting you can't work a full-time job. So now it's kind of like I can do everything freelance and kind of pursue it all. So it's kind of like you do what you kind of have to see what chooses you and kind of focus on what you love. And I also became sober. I haven't drank in 3 years. So I think after I stopped drinking was also when I was really able to grow my businesses and do so many things. Because if you're feeling sick from being hungover, it's hard to really pursue everything.
Yeah,
So
no, congratulations on that, by the way.
thank you. Yeah, it's definitely the best thing. I never thought, because I love to go out. I was only a social drink, but I just decided I wanted to make that decision for like my voice and also just like my health to just never drink again. And I'm in bars every night for, work and different, places I perform. And it's like, I don't mind it. I don't mind people drinking around me, but I just had to make that decision for myself. So
No, yeah, definitely a smart one. Yeah, nice one on that. So, so looking a little bit wider then, with us being student pages, we like to give advice to students that want to do whatever the person we're interviewing is doing. So for you with music, and this could easily be applied to pretty much everything else that you do. What advice would you give to students that want to do the kinds of things that you do?
I would just tell them, don't be afraid, yeah, to reach out to other people to collaborate with. Also, I mean, I think I really waited a long time before I moved here because I mean, I kind of pursued it, but I didn't really because I was really focused on people who were asking for a lot of money for different producers were, and I didn't have that. So I would say, taking a class on production and kind of trying to do it yourself a little bit could be cool as well if you're worried about paying producers a lot. There's a lot of producers out there that will also work as a 50-50 split. You could also find those people. Also, if you have a feeling you're supposed to go to a city, I would say go visit, bring like two suitcases, go for a month, sublease. That's how I got to LA. Is I subleased a place for a month, and I just saw what I'd never been here before, and I was like, I'm gonna see like if the universe wants me to stay, I will get some kind of sign. And I did. I got a bunch of signs that I should be here, and I stayed. So I think like if you have a feeling that of a city like New York, LA, wherever city it's supposed to be, like France, I don't know, whatever it is, like go and just see what happens, and don't be afraid of like how am I going to get there. Just bring one suitcase and see if when you're there the opportunities come. And I think sometimes a city will choose you. And with music now, you can do it from anywhere. And I would just tell people to do it now, and don't wait till you're ready, because you're never actually going to be ready. You just kind of have to put things out there. And I meet a lot of people at my gigs that are really good singers that will come out to LA, and they haven't pursued it yet, and they've been here like 7 years or something. And I'm like, wait, you're just bartending, you've never put out your music yet. And I also encourage people, like if you want to write and you don't have any beats to write to, go to YouTube and just type in whatever artist beat that you like type in like Lady Gaga style beat, and you can just like find beats to write to, and you can get inspired that way. So there's so many different ways to go about it. But yeah, I would just encourage people to, if you have a feeling of what you want to do, like don't listen to anybody else. Pursue it, because there's a reason you have that feeling within you. And once you do it, you'll realize if it's for you or not. That's a lot of words, but
Yeah. No, 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 of course. So basically just take the risk, take the leap, but be cautious about it is what I'm hearing, which I think is
and don't
incredible
stay where you're
advice.
from. Like, I mean, I never thought I was supposed to live where I was born. And of course, like I love my friends there. Like I love my family, but it's like I just knew that I was supposed to go somewhere else. And my parents would have never helped me get to LA. There's no way they would have like helped me drive across the country. And I was so dependent on them. So I'm saying like it's a crazy thing that I even got here. And I think just going somewhere that for see if you can sublease with a friend so you don't have to pay as much, and just go for a month and see what happens.
No, no, amazing advice. Honestly, absolutely incredible. So, I mean, if you had to pick one thing then from this entire journey, if we're going to end off on a really big question for you, what would you say has been the biggest challenge of this journey for you so far?
Gosh, the biggest challenge would probably just to feel like, I guess, like I have like a feeling of like where I want to be. And it's like obviously like I want to be traveling the world, and like on the level of these big artists that everyone knows their name. And it's like I think the biggest challenge is like knowing like where you like I see the end result, but it's hard for me to like take the steps in between. So I think the biggest challenge is just still pursuing something when you're not like where you feel like you want to be. So I think it's just realizing that you've got to do it for the art of it. And the challenge is just to keep pursuing it, to persevere, the perseverance of to keep going. So I think, yeah, I would say the biggest challenge is maybe just believing in yourself too. Like it is, I think you can get jaded. I think that's my biggest challenge actually, is just feeling jaded in the sense of like, oh wait, I did put out the my favorite music video. I did perform at the best venue that I wanted to perform at. Like, why hasn't it changed my career in that sense? But you kind of can't get jaded. You have to realize like the art of it. And even if you think your music isn't touching enough people, like if it's just touching one person, that's enough. So I think just like realizing like forgetting about being jaded and realizing the love of it. And that's been like my biggest challenge here. Yeah, so luckily I'm out of the jaded part of it, but 'cause yeah, you just people get very like in their head like, "Oh, why hasn't this happened yet?" And I've been pursuing this for 10 years, and I think it's really, you kind of just have to realize you just can't stop. That's what I remember. Chapel Roan said that in an interview. She's like, if you don't stop, you'll make it. And I'm like, that's an interesting thing, because that is true.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Of course, Chapel's coming out with the best advice. I love Chapel Rome. What an
Yeah.
incredible artist. So, I mean, that's pretty much all we've got for you. Thank you ever so much. Just to kick things off for the end, what are you working on right now? You've got Glow Up out. What can we expect to come?
So I have a lot of new songs to release, and yeah, they'll be coming out really soon. Just more kind of breakup empowerment songs. More, I have a song called "Too Much" that's coming out. That's kind of about people telling someone they're too much when it's like, well, maybe you're not enough. Like maybe you should be more yourself. So I want, I have like a lot of songs coming out that I think will definitely fall in the line of this glow up song that I have out right now, and I think hopefully people will really like it.
That's awesome to hear. I can't wait to hear it. So, Dina, thank you ever so much for joining us, and it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, no, our pleasure.